Y'all, whose kids are these? Whose kids are these? Erika Kirk provided this as proof of where she was September 9th.
Remember I told you that Daddy was working with his friends from heaven to send you presents every day so you always know you're loved? See?
This is Sesame Street.
It is.
Sesame Street.
I know, it's Sesame Street, but all these are for you.
The conservative world has been rocked to its core following the explosive revelation that Erika Kirk has officially banned Charlie Kirk's parents from seeing their grandchildren. But this isn't just a family feud, it's a survival tactic. The ban comes on the heels of a leaked DNA test that has sent shockwaves through Turning Point USA. For months, whispers about the children's parentage circulated in the shadows, but now the truth is coming to light. Is the perfect conservative family image a carefully constructed lie? Sources claim that when Charlie's parents confronted Erika with the genetic evidence, she didn't offer an explanation, she offered a war. From secret military base meetings to questionable metadata, the walls are closing in on Erika Kirk. Today, we dive deep into the DNA bombshell that changed everything, the mysterious, real father, and why Erika is desperate to keep Charlie's own bloodline away from the truth. The catalyst for this unprecedented family collapse was a document that Erika Kirk never intended for public eyes, a paternity report. According to insiders close to the Kirk household, Charlie's parents had long harbored quiet suspicions. They noticed discrepancies that couldn't be ignored, physical traits and behaviors in the children that simply did not align with the Kirk genetic lineage. In a movement where legacy and truth are paramount, these doubts became a heavy burden. Finally, the decision was made to seek professional clarity. When the results returned, they didn't just suggest a mistake, they confirmed a betrayal. The DNA test allegedly proved that Charlie Kirk was not the biological father of the children he was raising as his own. This revelation shatters the very foundation of the public persona Erika has cultivated. For years, she has stood as the pillar of traditional motherhood and Christian values. But if the core of her family is built on a biological deception, what else is a lie? The moment the results were presented to her, Erika's demeanor shifted from grieving widow to calculated operative.
Forget the time I was in Israel with my husband, well, that was the second time, but the first time with my mother on a pilgrimage. And I was standing in the ticket line, and I remember looking behind me, and in the snake of the ticket line was a guy who looked very familiar. I had no idea who he was. And I told my mom, this guy looks so familiar. And as a typical mother, she said, go and say hi. No, we were late for our flight, and I'm not going to come off like a crazy person. That's just weird. That ended up being Charlie. Nothing is by coincidence. Now, did we know that? No, not until we were like 3 months into our relationship and looking at times.
Instead of a humble reconciliation or a private explanation, she chose total scorched earth tactics. She immediately cut off all communication between the grandparents and the children, citing emotional instability and security concerns. It is the ultimate form of gaslighting, accusing the victims of the lie of being the ones who are dangerous. Analysts observing the situation note that Erika's reaction is a classic crash out. When a person is confronted with undeniable evidence of a deep-seated secret, they often lash out at those closest to the truth. By banning Charlie's parents, she is effectively trying to bury the evidence. If the grandparents aren't around to point out the lack of resemblance or to speak about the DNA findings, Erika can maintain the illusion for a little while longer. But the internet never forgets, and the investigative detectives on X and YouTube are already piecing together the timeline. They are looking back at Erika's past, her sudden rise to prominence, and her connections to individuals outside the conservative mainstream. Was Charlie Kirk a willing participant in this deception, or was he the ultimate victim of a long con? Some suggest that Charlie may have known and chose to protect the image for the sake of the movement, but the parents' outrage suggests otherwise. They feel their son's legacy is being hijacked by a woman who is now using his name to shield a secret that involves a completely different man. The psychological impact of this cannot be overstated. We are watching the deconstruction of a family in real time, fueled by the most basic and undeniable form of proof, genetics. As Erika continues to deflect and deny, the public is left wondering. How much of the TPUSA leadership knew about this? Was this a federally sanctioned family unit designed to project an image that was never real? The deeper we go into the metadata of Erika's life, the more we find that the truth was never the priority, control was. The ban on Charlie's parents is more than just a locked door. It is a sophisticated legal and social blockade. Erika has reportedly enlisted the full might of Turning Point USA's legal team and security apparatus to ensure that the elder Kirks are kept at a distance. Imagine being the parents of the man who built an empire, only to be treated like trespassers by his widow. This exile is designed to silence them. Erika knows that as long as they are in the picture, the question of the DNA test will never go away. By framing them as unstable or harassing, she creates a legal narrative that allows her to ignore the biological reality they exposed. The tactical move to use a YouTuber to leak a fake alibi, as mentioned by Candace Owens, shows the level of desperation in Erika's camp. When Andrew Colvett, the TPUSA spokesperson, sent photos of kids to a random influencer to prove Erika's whereabouts, it backfired spectacularly. The metadata didn't match the dates in question, and the children in the photos didn't even appear to be the right age. This botched cover-up only added fuel to the fire. It suggests that Erika is not just lying about the father of her children, but she is lying about her entire schedule leading up to Charlie's assassination. Why would a mother ban her children's grandparents unless she was terrified of what they might say to the kids? Or worse, what they might do with more DNA samples? There are rumors that Erika has tightened security to such an extent that even a stray hair or a used glass is carefully disposed of to prevent further unauthorized testing. This is not the behavior of an innocent woman. It is the behavior of someone managing a radioactive secret. Candace Owens has been a thorn in Erika's side because she refuses to accept the robot-like emotional responses coming from the Kirk estate. Candace pointed out that Erika's behavior is not human. The cold, calculated way she has discarded Charlie's flesh and blood, his own parents, suggests that Erika may be an operative whose primary goal is the maintenance of the brand, not the sanctity of the family. The legal war is heating up, with whispers of a massive lawsuit involving the estate's inheritance. If the children are proven not to be Charlie's biological heirs, the entire financial structure of the Kirk legacy could be at risk. This is likely why the ban is so strict. It's not just about feelings, it's about millions of dollars and the control of a political juggernaut. Erika's attempts to shush the conspiracy theories are failing because the theories are being validated by her own actions. Every time she bans a family member or sends a spokesperson to lie about a date, she confirms that there is a Fort Huachuca-sized hole in her story. The public is now asking, if the DNA test is fake, why not just take a public one and end the rumors? The silence is deafening. Instead of transparency, we get metadata errors and bans. We are seeing a total breakdown of the traditional family unit she once claimed to represent. The grandparents are now the outsiders, and the real father remains a shadow in the background, likely watching as his children are used as pawns in a high-stakes game of political theater. The irony is staggering. The woman who rose to power on the wings of conservative family values is now the one systematically dismantling her husband's family to protect a lie. The ultimate question remains, if Charlie isn't the father, who is? This is where the story takes its darkest turn. Observers have pointed to Erika's frequent business trips and her mysterious presence at Fort Huachuca just 24 hours before Charlie's death. Was the real father someone she met within the deep state or military intelligence circles? The eyewitnesses at the base lobby described Erika with a man who was not Charlie. This man, described as having rare, distinctive features, is now the primary subject of internet speculation. The theory is that Erika was placed in Charlie's life as a handler, and the children are a product of her real life behind the scenes. This would explain why she crashed out when the DNA test surfaced. It wasn't just a personal embarrassment, it was a mission-critical failure. If the public realizes the children aren't Charlie's, the profit image of Charlie Kirk as the leader of the youth movement is tarnished forever. It suggests he was a cuckold or a pawn, and neither image sells tickets to AM Fest. Erika's behavior has been described as the happiest widow ever, but perhaps that happiness comes from the relief that the Charlie chapter is over, and she can now pivot to her real objectives. However, the DNA test was the one variable she couldn't control. You can fake an alibi, you can fake a photo, and you can even fake a Superman bullet story, but you cannot fake the genetic code. The children's physical development is making the lie harder to maintain every day. They are growing into a likeness that is clearly not Charlie's, and the ban on the grandparents is a desperate attempt to stop the people who knew Charlie best from pointing out the obvious. The community on X is now calling Erika Miss Jezebel, a biblical reference to a woman who uses deception and seduction to subvert the righteous. The religious community, which was once her biggest support base, is beginning to turn. They see the sentinels and robots that Candace Owens described, people who mimic human emotion but have no soul for the truth. The fact that TPUSA allowed a selfie tent of the site where Charlie died shows a level of ghoulishness that is hard to process. It feels like a celebration of his removal rather than a memorial. As we look at the real father theory, we have to ask why Erika would protect him so fiercely. Is he someone powerful? Someone within the very government agencies Charlie claimed to fight? If the real father is a Fed or an operative, then the Kirk family wasn't a family. It was a psychological operation. The ban on the parents is the final seal on the tomb of Charlie's legacy. Erika is now the CEO, the gatekeeper, and the widow, but she is no longer the wife in the eyes of the public. She is a woman standing alone on a mountain of secrets, clutching a DNA test that she hopes the world will forget. But with every video, every leak, and every metadata error, the shadow of the real father grows longer. The Superman story is dead. The perfect family is a ghost. All that remains is the cold, hard reality of a genetic report that Erika Kirk would kill to keep hidden. This story is moving faster than the official narrative can keep up with. Every hour, new whistleblowers are stepping forward from within Turning Point USA, and the pressure on Erika Kirk is becoming unbearable. Is she a victim of a massive conspiracy, or is she the architect of the greatest deception in conservative history? The DNA doesn't lie, but people do. What do you think about Erika banning Charlie's parents? Is she protecting her children, or is she protecting a secret that would end her career? And who is the man seen with her at Fort Huachuca? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. We need to hear your take on this. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe with notifications turned on, because we are following this trail wherever it leads. The truth is coming out and you don't want to miss the next update. Stay tuned.